think about our stick figure, and we're going to have a button-down shirt. So each, or in the middle, we will start measuring almost like increments or sections of where the button will go. I like using a ruler that I can actually see the measurement and then try to mark off even sections of where the buttons will go on his torso. With these marks, we're going to take each of those back to the vanishing point number 1 and vanishing point number 2. So let's start on the left side. We're going to go with the first button down on his shirt or his torso to the left side, vanishing point. One common mistake when students are doing this is that they make diagonal lines that are arbitrary to the vanishing point. Each of these diagonal lines should meet up to our vanishing point. So the top ones will be going down, like the top lines that we have will be going down, but the ones that we go like further down on his torso will actually go upwards towards our vanishing point. These are the easier windows to do because they're kind of flat. You can also make columns easily down them with some vertical lines. So it almost looks more like a checkerboard or like different sections of windows. We're going to repeat the same steps and go back on the right side to our right vanishing point. So each button will go back. You're not making random diagonal lines. Notice how I've always been using my vanishing points. If the line ever looks a little goofy, it's mostly because you're missing either a vertical line that's parallel to everything else or a diagonal line that's not going back into the vanishing point. Later on, there's some explanation of how your diagonal lines might vary and may not go back to your vanishing point, but that's for different steps. We'll get there when we get there. Now we can erase our stick figure. And we're going to go to a different building. I'm going to create the stick figure back on this building. I'm going to make little buttons down his torso for his button-up shirt. And now we're going to take the left side to the left vanishing point. Now we're going to go to the right side of our building, and we're going to take the buttons back to the right side vanishing point. I'm going to show you a different way to create windows. I'm going to start on the right side of this building over here, and I'm going to start with vertical lines closest to the center of our building. So that line that we started off that was vertical, I'm going to make parallel lines kind of in dashes down the side on the right side. So I have 3. It's nice to have them evenly spaced, but you can always work with things that are a little imperfect. We're going to still take it back on the top and the bottom, each of the vertical lines we created. So these windows so far started to look kind of like a staple for a stapler. And now we're going to cut it off just like we've done for our buildings with a straight through the line to close off the exterior side of our building. Let's go on the other side and kind of repeat those same steps, but this time This time it'll go to our left side vanishing point, since it's on the left side of the building. You're going to take both top and bottom to the left vanishing point. Have you hit the building? Stop. I'm going to create a small window above our centered door. I'm going to start with a vertical line, and the left side will go back to the vanishing point. I'll close it off with a little small margin. I'm going to create other middle lines to show that there's 3 different windows. You can kind of check to see if they get progressively smaller towards the vanishing point. Right here I'm just kind of eyeballing it. This will work for right now. And then erase any lines that might intersect or come off of the window to make it look a little bit more realistic. I'm going to start with the other side with the same kind of straight line towards the center of the building, and then I'm going to take it to the right side. Since it's on the right side of the building, I'm going to take it to the right side vanishing point. And then make a nice straight parallel line. I had to add a little extra part of my line since it wasn't quite long enough. I'm going to do the same process for my back building. I'm going to do dashes that are kind of evenly placed as possible, closest to the center of my building. I'm going to take both the top and the bottom to each of the vanishing, or to the left side vanishing point, since it applies to the left side of the building. Close off with a parallel vertical line. Erase any extras that come off of the window. Now I could have done a whole row like I've done before and then erase parts of it out. I'm going to kind of use the height and the same kind of structure as before. So I'm going to start with a vertical line that's pretty close to what the other window next to it looks like. And then going to do another set. I could have also done a full row like we've done for the first 2 buildings and then erase. This way is just another way to show you that there's different ways to create the windows. Erase any extras from off the windows. Now we're going to go, so the left side will go to the left vanishing point. This next right side will go to the right vanishing point. Start the same way. I'm going to match as closely as I can my vertical lines to the previous windows on the left side. Do the rows like we've done before for the first 2 buildings. I'm going to take the line segments as closest to the same height as what was on the other side and do the same following steps, but now I'm applying the right vanishing point. So top and bottom of each window will go back to the right side vanishing point. Then close off the windows as we have done before with straight parallel lines that are vertical and parallel lines to our center of our building. We're going to create other vertical lines like we did on the other side, following the same height as we did before. It does help to have a clear ruler for this. And then I'm going to take both the top and bottom. You can match up the height with the first window, create your lines. If you hit the building, just stop because it is considered behind the first building that we created. In this building, I'm going to go on the top portion. I'm going to make just a line, and I'm going to take the top and the bottom back to the right vanishing point since it's on the right side of the building. Cut it off with a nice parallel line that's also vertical. make a vertical line close to the center of your building, and then go to the according side on the left to the vanishing point. Cut it off with a nice parallel line. Each building in your 2-point perspective will have windows and doors. Now, if your building is behind, like the one in our background, you will probably not see a door. But you will see windows. That's why I kind of added more windows to the building that's in the background more than in the foreground. The ones that are on the foreground or on the horizon line, or the first converging line that we created from our first building, I tend to leave those pretty simple, so that way I can create advertisements, billboards, and other additional details. So this window is on the right side. I'm going to take the top and the bottom of the vertical line back to the right vanishing point. Once again, this is really close to the vanishing point, so it looks pretty straight. It looks more of like a square than it does a rhombus. We're going to do the same steps over here, trying to mimic the height as before, and then go back to your vanishing point.